Hello and welcome from Iława in Poland. This lake is the largest lake in Poland. It's called the Jeziora, and what we have in front of us over there is an island, and that island is the largest island on a lake in Poland too. The town of Iława as such is largely in front of us at this moment. And here we have a waterway from the big lake, the Jeziora, into what is over here and the other side of this bridge, or these bridges, because there's two of them in fact, and that's called the Małe Jeziora, the little Jeziora, and the town is also goes around there as well. Lovely place to come in the summer. Up until the Second World War, or the end of the Second World War, this was called Deutsch Eylau. The word Elyau is a Prussian word, or something similar, Prussian word for grebe, and probably for the amount of grebes that used to be found here. Now, I've been here 3 times now, and once it was for more than 3 months, and I haven't seen a single grebe here that I can recall, but never mind, maybe they've moved out. Now, what I want to talk about though is this monument which is down here, or what used to be down here, and there was a Tannenberg memorial. Now, I've done a video on the big Tannenberg memorial, which is at Olsztynek, formerly Hohenstein. But this area here was built as the Tannenberg Memorial for Deutsch Eylau. And what we have in front of us is where the monument was. There's another one now, but I'll get to that. Behind that is the military area. This was a garrison town. It wasn't all that far from the Russian border. That is to say, the part of Poland that was occupied by Russia following the end of the Napoleonic Wars, when Poland was finally sort of split into 3 parts, going to Austria, Prussia and Russia. So in August 1914, most of the German army was in the west, trying to knock France out of the war. The plan was to knock France out of the war, then turn around and face the Russians. The Russians mobilized much quicker. The Russians invaded Germany, and which East Prussia, and not so far from here. And in East Prussia, units, local units, held the line. Now, Ludendorff and Hindenburg made their way here very quickly by train. Ludendorff had been fighting at Liège. In fact, he's credited with the defeat of the fortifications at Liège, heavily fortified city in Belgium, and they got off the train here at Deutsch Elyau. They came here very quickly, and then they moved on to Tannenberg, today's Stenberg, and then they had what I think Ludendorff said was the greatest victory in the history of mankind. There were approximately 5,000 German troops, 4,000 to 5,000 stationed here in Iława, Deutsch Eylau, which in the town then had a population of 9,503, I think it was in 1909, something like that. 1,300 of those troops were killed. So of the garrison, it's what, 30% of the garrison has been lost in this battle. And so obviously a place to actually commemorate this major battle was made at this location here. And I do have photographs to show you of what it looked like, but it won't be shown in this video because I'm doing it as a walk around. But if I do a longer video, then I'll put it into that one. Now, in January 1945, the Soviet Union captured Deutsch Eylau. It was captured intact, but then the Soviets did what they do so well everywhere. They went and destroyed the town completely unnecessarily, and that happened in many places. The destruction happened after the battle, and sort of pillaging and stealing things or whatever, and then they set fire to things to sort of cover the traces of the crime that had been committed. This area here, therefore, was vacant for quite some time. Now, why they would bother to destroy the memorial, I'm unable to say. It could be, of course, that the memorial was actually destroyed by retreating German troops, as it was at Hohenstein, but that I actually doubt. I think that this was destroyed. I think this was destroyed by the Soviets. Anyway, so the Platz was empty. The place, the square, was empty for 20 years, and then somebody had the idea of building a monument which would commemorate the referendum that took place here in 1920, as well as 1,000 years of Poland. So the commemoration for the referendum was as follows, because the area what was to become East Prussia was to become North, because parts of this were geographically in West Prussia before the end of the First World War. But there was a large Masurian-speaking population here. The Masurian being Polish-speaking language, and so it was overwhelming victory for to stay within East Prussia, because that was the choice: East Prussia or Poland. And there were people though that came here to try and do publicity, to appeal to people to vote for Poland. But I think one of the reasons though that the referendum failed was that those that came here were seen to be coming from the south. They weren't locals, so that was the number one thing. Next thing was, and this I think is highly important, was that the Polish-speaking people lived here were Protestants, and they resented the idea of having Catholics. I think there was also a superiority complex, that they were Germans, even if they're Polish-speaking. Therefore, they didn't want these sort of less refined people coming in from the south. And also there's the reason that the German police were still in charge here, so that they took a rather dismal view to people making publicity for Poland, and whereas they would do everything they could to actually support those backing Germany. People were bussed in deliberately. Anybody who was born in this area was bussed in to be able to vote, and there's plenty of photographs of that showing people being bussed in. Of course, nobody was bussed in from Poland, although then again there weren't very many people who'd left this area to go to Poland. There were, however, plenty of people who'd left East Prussia to go and work in the industrial centres in the Ruhr, for example, or in Berlin or other areas. And depopulation of East Prussia starting in the mid-19th century is a common feature of this land. Now, today it was raining, and I spent the morning reading the law that was done to give assistance to eastern lands, the Osthilfe, and which is a major reason why Hitler came to power, a major reason. But I won't go into that now because I'll be coming off the point too much. So this gentleman here, I think his name is Jaromski, and he was one of the people who campaigned for Poland, the areas here to be to join Poland. An important thing is the difference between the Silesian plebiscite and the plebiscite here was that in Silesia, bear in mind that both were Catholics. Both the Polish-speaking population and the German-speaking population were Catholic, and this clearly had an effect. So, There you have the date 1966 when this was put up to celebrate the millennium of Poland. This is from the inhabitants of the people who live in the Iława region. And there it says, the land of Mazuria is ours, on that one. Now this monument is absolutely very, very communist. 1864 to 1925, so I presume that's when Mr. Jaromski was around. So there you have a little bit here of what East Prussia looked like. Now in the interwar period, now some territory to the south of Iława was automatically granted to Poland, and the reason for that was because it was there was a railway line there, so they didn't bother considering the people were German speaking or Polish speaking. Here, for example, in Iława, there was a hotel which belonged to a Polish speaking family, and in Lubawa there was a hotel belonging to a German speaking family, and they just swapped the hotels, so that one went to live in Poland, the other went to live in Germany. And so from here the border was along the Drents river, which well, even on my bicycle it took me about 20 minutes, something like that. And so it's not that far from here. And up here we've got the former garrison area of Iława, and we still see old houses from this period. One of the people who came from here, was born here, was someone called Helmut Stief, and he was born in 1901. It was he who travelled from Berlin to Rastenburg on the 20th of July with Colonel Schenk von Grafenberg, von Stauffenberg, I've prepared a separate video. I've been writing about him for 4 years and I still haven't finished it. It'll only be like a 1-hour video or something, or a 4-part video or something. But it's been taking me 4 years. I'm still on it. And here we have the new port, pleasure port, marina. So, I hope you've found that of interest, and I do lots of videos like this related largely to the Second World War and the Holocaust, my specialist area. I've got this interest in geography, historical geography, and borders as well, so I sort of talk about them when I can. That's why I often show where borders were in my videos. There you go. So this is the summer in Mazuria, July, and I can't say it's very busy though, despite the weather, which has been absolutely roasting. But this is my favourite place to come at. Every summer I'm somewhere in northern Poland. It's absolutely my favourite place anywhere, and I have travelled a bit. So there you go, and there's a view with new hotels, and you can see here, but we've also got some socialist era housing up there, and up there is the church and castle, maybe I can call it, I don't know, well anyway, let's call it the fortified church built by the Teutonic Knights. I think it was the 13th or 14th centuries. So thanks for watching, all the best from me in Iława, Poland.